Hello everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. Time to take that walk and go see what's in the fridge today. Hey guys, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews. Thought I had finished up all the pumpkins and my buddy Nate had reminded me that he had sent this one. And I knew it was a sour, but I wasn't aware that it was a pumpkin sour. So we went ahead and grabbed it out for today, and we're going to try to finish up all these pumpkin beers and move on to some of the winter beers and get some of those under review. So I think this is going to be the last pumpkin beer, and this is a sour, and I'm not very much into the sours, trying to get more and more into them, but a lot of them are just either so sour or so tart that it's just not pleasurable for me to drinking. And I'm trying to expand my palate to enjoy these beers a little bit more. So I'm glad he sent this one. So Nate, thanks so much for sending me this one. Hopefully this will be the one that flips the switch and turns me around on some of these sour beers. And what this one is, and it looks like a pricey beer. This is Paradox Beer Company, and this is their Wayward Beers Barrel Bound Pepitas Grande. And this is Dunk Your Face Project. I wouldn't mind dunking my face in some nice tasty beer. It says Wild Dark Pumpkin Ale aged in oak barrels. Paradox fermentation, bottle conditioned. And it's got a bunch of stuff written on it here. This is the 2014 edition here. And this is a brewed once beer, so it is technically retired. It says this is number 1367 out of a total of 1,800 bottles produced. So they only did 1,800 bottles of this stuff. Released in August of 2014. Says this pumpkin beer, Paradox style, a barrel-aged fruited beer. This ale contains pumpkin roasted pepitas, Chimayo red chili, and a hint of Ecuadorian cocoa nibs, brewed with our proprietary wild and farmhouse yeast blend and aged in oak wine barrels. Truly a special pumpkin ale. It even has a food pairing on here, and I'll go ahead and tell you what the bottle food pairings are. So food pairing ideas: spicy Latin cuisine. Try any meaty, moly, or chili dish. Traditional fall dishes like roasted fowl with all the trimmings. Dessert ideas are custards or chocolates. It says this beer was bottled with living yeast, opened and poured gently. Store in a cool and upright refrigerated minimum of 24 hours before opening. Well, it's been in there well more than 24 hours. And being bottle conditioned, it kept on fermenting while it was. After it went into the bottle, it kept fermenting to the distribution in the warehouse, and then Nate got it and shipped it, and basically it kept fermenting until I put it in the fridge at 40 degrees, and that slowed the fermentation way down to probably almost nothing at 40 degrees. But I don't know what's going to happen when I pop the cap on this. It may be relatively calm, and then again, it may spew all over the damn place. So I really don't know what to expect here, guys, especially on these bottle conditioned beers, because the yeast keeps working as long as it stays at room temperature. Alright, let's go over, let's see, 6.5% alcohol. I don't have the IBUs listed for this beer. I gave you some food pairings here. Here it says Food pairing is dessert and the meat is poultry. Well, that's what it basically says for all of the pumpkin beers, since it's not a recognized style in the beer judging guidelines. Glassware is pint, becker, non tumbler. I'm going to use a double glass for this. Not recommended for extended cellarings. 6.5%. It's going to keep for a little while. I don't know what would be detrimental to keeping this beer any longer, being a pumpkin beer aged in oak barrels. It's already been aged for a little while. As long as you kept it at 40 degrees where it wouldn't keep fermenting, I don't see what would be detrimental to this. But I've never aged a beer like this. I don't drink a lot of sour, so we'll see what this brings, guys. According to this beer is already retired since it was a brewed once beer. No IBUs listed on this slide either. So, without further ado, let's see what happens. See if I get wet. Oh, just a little hiss. And the beer is all the way up to there in the bottle. So, I mean, it's a pretty full beer. And this is bigger than a regular sized bottle. I don't think it's quite to 500. Yeah, it is. It is a 500 milliliter. So we're going to pour this fairly gently. And it doesn't look like it's pouring too much of a head, so let's get a little more aggressive here. And that's all I'm going to pour in there for right now. About a finger of head on that pour. Over into the light. It is a brown color. It's not black, it's a brown color, but it's very dark. I'm not getting very much light though, so it's a murky brown color, almost to the caramel color. Looks decent in the glass. I don't think the head's going to stick around very long. It's already dissipated it to about halfway. Let's get a nose on it and see what we got. Definitely tell it's a sour. I am getting that tart, sour nose on it. Can tell it's been done in some wine barrels, some oak wine barrels. There may be a hint of vanilla in there from the oak in the wine barrels. Very fruity smelling. Not getting the chilies on the nose, and really not getting much pumpkin. The sweetness and the sour tartness is basically overpowering everything else right now. There may be a slight hint of the chilies in the nose, but I got a feeling that's going to come out more as it warms up. It comes up to room temperature. So, as you can see, the head is dissipated completely now. Interesting smell. Smells like a sour. So let's give it a taste and see what the pumpkin sour and the pepitas commercial description on that. Dunk Your Face Project, oak barrel aged fruited beer, dark beer brewed with pumpkin, pepitas, and pepitas it says pumpkin seeds. So I guess that's what pepitas is pumpkin seeds. And Chimayo red chili, aged in red wine barrels in bottle condition. It's time. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Nate. Definitely a sour. It's not overly sour, not overly tart. Can definitely taste the influence of the sour wild yeast. Not too much heat from the chilies. I think it's being overpowered by the yeast to get the pumpkin taste. Now that may come out more as it warms up. It's really quite decent. It's not overly tart or sour. Some of them are way, I mean, it just makes me go. But this one's not bad. Like I say, this may be the conversion beer that gets me into more of the sours and the lambics. It's not bad. It really is not bad. But we're going to let it warm up, and hopefully some of the heat from the chilies and maybe more of the pumpkin will come out and we'll let it breathe for a little while, sip on it, let her have some, and see what she thinks of it, and come back and do the final chug on this one. But as far as I know, this will be the last pumpkin beer, unless somebody sends me something that I haven't done before that I'm not aware of that they're sending. This will be the last one, the last pumpkin beer for the season. So let's let this one warm up, and I'll come back and find out where this one ends up on the chart. Hi guys, I'm back. I've been sipping on it for quite a while now, about 35-40 minutes or so. It's warmed up to room temperature. Just a slight hint of the chilies in there, and not as much as I was expecting. The pumpkin is so subdued with the yeast overpowering everything, and the aging in the red wine barrels lends a little bit to it. As far as if you're a wine drinker, I would think you would probably like this beer. It has a tart slash sourness to it, which is very reminiscent of a wine. I guess coming from the red wine barrels it's aged in. But overall, my inclination is to think it's a decent beer. The pumpkin is definitely overpowered by everything else. Not getting a whole lot of that, and the chilies are very subdued in there. But the sourness and the tartness of the yeast is coming through pretty good, and the aging in the red wine barrels is coming through fairly good. But as far as the pumpkin and the chilies, they're very subdued to me. So let's do the final chug here. To me, it's decent. It's not overly tart. It's not overly sour. And the aging in the red wine barrels is fairly tasty. But I'm just not getting a lot of the chilies in the pumpkin in the beer. It does have a fairly nice mouthfeel. And the alcohol is very well hidden. It's a very well made beer. As far as a sour beer, I find it very tasty. As far as a pumpkin beer, I find it lacking quite a bit. As far as a chili beer, I find it lacking. As far as an aged in a red wine barrel, it's coming through pretty well. So about half and half. The yeast is coming through, and the aging in the wine barrels is coming through, but the chilies and the pumpkin are really not that strong or prevalent in this beer. So it is what it is. I'm glad I got to try it. Thanks again for sending this one. A nice change up for me, since I don't do a whole lot of sours. It was pleasant. I mean, I was expecting to be a lot tartar or sourer, if that's a word. And I was expecting to be a little more heat and a little more pumpkin in it. But there's just so much going on in the beer, I'm not sure it's all coming together very well. But it was very pleasurable. I did enjoy drinking this one. As far as my grade, guys, it's a 2014 edition. It's got that on the bottle. I'm going to give it a B+. I mean, it was enjoyable. It was nice. I just think some of it, the sourness and the aging in the wine barrels is overpowering the pumpkin and the chilies in this beer. But anyway, it was very tasty. Over to rate beer. Rate beer says 85 in the very good range. If I was putting numeric rating on it, it would probably be a little bit better than that. I would probably give it an 87 or an 88 even. It was nice. It was enjoyable. I don't think I've had anything from these guys from Paradox before. And over to rate beer. Rate beer says no score, requires more ratings. So I don't. They only did this beer once, and it was in August of 2014. So it's only been out a couple of months, and it does have several reviews, enough to have a rating anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's got 8 reviews and 8 ratings. I don't know how many they required to actually put a rating on it. seem like you have, once you have 5 or 6, you could actually put that on there, but they choose not to. So, whatever the case may be from these guys, I enjoyed it. It's a decent beer, but if you're expecting a lot of pumpkin or a lot of heat from the chilies, it's not there. If you like a beer, a sour beer that that has a little bit of I'd say influence from aging in the red wine barrels, you'll probably like this quite a bit. But it doesn't all come together. The like I said, the pumpkin and the chilies are a little more subdued or overpowered by the red wine barrels and the sourness of the yeast. So that's what I got to say about this, and that's where we're going to leave it. If you had this one, let me know what you think, guys, and let's go see what's in the fridge tomorrow. See you then.